Oops. Hi, it's Christina with the Sisyphean Journal. It's been a while since I did a rant from my kitchen. I'm going to do one now. I have been talking about something that Kamala Harris was actually doing in the debate, and I had forgotten what the technical term for it was. But I pulled up a new discourses bullet, and it's called Operational Preparation of the Environment, and I'm going to link to it below. What it is a technique for establishing up front what the narrative is going to be for something that is either inevitable or that you are going to cause to happen or that you are going to actively do yourselves. And I've talked about this before, and that is the fact that the abortion lobby is working very hard to establish a narrative that anti-abortion laws cause women to die because doctors are not allowed to provide obstetric care. And Kamala Harris, sorry, it's Saturday, it's my housework day. Kamala Harris was even doing this during the debate, where she talked about how doctors are afraid, is how she phrased it, to treat women because they're afraid they're going to get arrested, so these women are going to bleed out in the parking lot. Now, if you stop and give that a whole lot of thought, you're going to go, why would an abortion law cause the woman to bleed out in the parking lot? There's nothing in an abortion law that prohibits you from providing blood transfusions to a hemorrhaging pregnant woman. But they don't want you to think. They want to have it planted in your mind that a pregnant woman will die, and the reason will be because of anti-abortion laws. So they are very carefully planting that idea, and you can decide for yourself whether you think the doctors are deliberately endangering these women or the doctors are legitimately so stupid that they think they'll lose their medical license or be prosecuted if they administer a transfusion to a hemorrhaging pregnant woman. You decide what their motives are. I'm not going to tell you. So the things you need to keep in mind, first of all, is that even the most stringent anti-abortion laws that were ever on the books, you would not be prosecuted if it was a good faith attempt to save the woman's life. And on my Real Choice blog and on this channel, I have plenty of pre-legalization abortion deaths where they concluded that the doctor was making a good faith to save the patient's life, even if that was kind of questionable. Because all he'd have to do is check her into a hospital and do the abortion. All he'd have to do is document what the health problem was. And all the current abortion laws, they have, and it really isn't necessary to have a life of the mother exception, because you don't need to. There's a difference between terminating the pregnancy and terminating the baby. And this is part of the operational preparation, using the term termination of pregnancy, termination of pregnancy, termination of pregnancy, instead of abortion, to make it seem like all an abortion is ending the pregnancy, and trying to make it sound like ending a life-threatening pregnancy would be illegal if you ban abortion. Which, come on, we all know somebody who had to have a C-section because her health or life was in danger. Pretty much everybody knows somebody who had to have either an urgent C-section or an emergency C-section because her life was in danger, and they terminated the pregnancy. Sometimes they'll just induce labor. So terminating the pregnancy is different from an abortion. And later in the pregnancy, doing an abortion delays terminating the pregnancy. Okay? So instead of just inducing labor to terminate the pregnancy, they need to take time to do an ultrasound and this little ultrasound guided procedure where you do a lethal injection to the fetus. And then you have to wait for it to die to make sure you don't get a live birth. Now, how, if a woman's life is in danger, would you possibly need to delay ending that pregnancy and subjecting her to additional medical steps that do nothing but ensure that the baby comes out dead. You can do an emergency C-section. There is nothing that says you can't end that pregnancy. So you don't even need these life of the mother loopholes in the law, but the pro-lifers put them in anyway because they knew that these pro-abortion people were going to play semantic games and pretend that you have to kill the baby before you can end the pregnancy. And we are seeing this happening. There was a woman in Idaho who was hemorrhaging. She had a placental abruption. That means that the placenta was separating while the baby was still in the uterus. This was life-threatening. The woman was hemorrhaging. The baby was doomed. Obstetric care, perfectly legal obstetric care, legal in any state, regardless of abortion laws, would be to keep her in the hospital, which is where she was. She was in a hospital, someplace where they could have done transfusions, could have done an emergency hysterectomy if necessary because of the hemorrhaging. Everything on hand they need to save that mother, and they could have delivered that baby alive, just like Rick Santorum's little son Gabriel. Okay, that was a case of an obstetric infection, and the baby was doomed, and to save Mrs. Santorum's life, they ended the pregnancy by delivering Gabriel so that he would die cuddled and held and loved in his mother's arms. But the doctors in Idaho told this woman that it was illegal to end her pregnancy, to terminate her pregnancy, to treat her because of the abortion laws. And they put her on an airplane and flew her to Utah for a dismemberment abortion. So her baby died being torn apart with forceps instead of held and cuddled and loved in her arms. And they lied to her, and she thinks that they were doing her a favor. So this is operational preparation of the environment. They are planting the false idea that you're not allowed to save a woman's life because of abortion laws. It's a total falsehood. Look up these abortion laws, okay? These states, abortion is defined as doing things to make sure you get a dead baby. That's the definition of an abortion. A definition of abortion is not terminating the pregnancy. Again, C-sections are perfectly legal. Inducing labor is perfectly legal. These are options that they're still allowed to do no matter how strict the abortion law is. But they want you to believe the doctors are afraid to terminate the pregnancy. So we need to get the word out. This is operational preparation of the environment. Putting this false narrative in place so that when one of these doctors gets one of these women killed, like that doctor in Ireland got Savita killed. This woman had the same condition that Rick Santorum's wife had. She had an infection while she was miscarrying. And the doctor refused to provide any treatment. This woman needed IV antibiotics. An abortion would not have saved her life. An abortion would have endangered her life even further by risking damage to the uterus and that infection getting straight into her bloodstream. But they did that operational preparation of the environment where it's like a woman will die because of these anti-abortion laws. And then they just waited for somebody to let a woman die. I can guarantee you all the leftist and pro-abortion organizations in this country have all of their press materials ready. They have friendly people in the media already. They have friendly people in medical practice already, just like they did in Ireland. They are getting ready to let a woman die and blame it on the law when the law specifically says you can do whatever you need to do to save her life. Don't let these people fool you. You're smarter than that. And don't let them get away with getting a woman killed. When we hear reports about doctors doing these things, they need to be reported to the medical board for endangering the women. The women need to be contacted and told, no, this was not the law. The law did not require him to take you out of state. The law did not require them to discharge you and send you home. There was a case in Ohio where the miscarriage had already been diagnosed. The baby was dead and she was hemorrhaging and she went to the hospital and they told her, well, we need to do serial HCGs before we can end this pregnancy. No, that's not true. There's no heartbeat. It's a heartbeat bill. If you detect a heartbeat, you're not allowed to kill the living baby. There's nothing that says that you're not allowed to remove a dead fetus. Again, Operational preparation of the environment. They are putting these stories out to make you believe them. They are going to get a woman killed for political purposes. Okay? You need to understand that.